Two men journey to the bars and restaurants of Scandinavia to find amazing beers, always with the same question.
Hey, what's on tap?
It's time to find out.
Today is day 6 of the What's on Tap podcast, Advent Calendar 2024, Bonanza, Spectacular, Excitement, Celebration.
We've held off the Bonanza Spectacular Extravaganza for so long, but now...
We got to circle back to it. We can't deny what it is.
Now we really need to bring it, which
We
is
have to
lucky
bring it.
for me.
Oh, it's already been brought. It's been brought for 5 days.
Brung.
It's day 6.
Yeah.
We're brought it again.
Yeah, so for the past 2 days we had Martin beers.
Yes.
Now I have pulled Stefan beer.
Yes.
Because it is a small can wrapped in Stefan wrapping paper.
The beautiful... I wish I could find more of this wrapping paper. I got to say, I love this wrapping paper a lot. I wish I could...
It's a silvery can.
Wait. Go in front. What do you think this is?
Is this the Omnipollo Tårt-Kaggen? Is it?
It is.
It is.
It is.
It is! Wow!
It is.
So this is a really fun beer.
I know it is. And when we both tried this beer before, and I was like, this is the perfect beer for the calendar. It's a really great beer, and we will never talk about this beer in any other way whatsoever.
The only way to talk about this beer is through the calendar.
Yes, exactly.
So the beer is a collaboration between Omnipollo and Närke, Swedish oldest, really hyped brewery.
Right.
Way back in the rate beer days, when Närke made a porter. It was an imperial porter called Kaggen, Stormaktsporter.
They still make it.
They still make it, but it's not internationally renowned in the same way anymore.
No.
It at one point it was the number one beer on rate beer. Then it was brought down by Westletteren 12. Then it took it back, and then blah blah blah. And now it's a totally Goliath beer, as far as I know. Something or other. So Närke represent. They're from the Örebro region, where people talk kind of like this. It's very whiny. Oh, why would I talk like this?
It's always fun to hear like people talk regionally and then mock other people from other region.
Yeah, but
it'd be like people from the South. They talk like they've been, banging their cousin or whatever.
Exactly. So I'm a southern Swede. So my Swedish is kind. Let's see how I would. Hello. Vad snackar du om? What are you talking about? That's like the Malmo
dialect. Yes, it's the Skånish.
Yeah, exactly. But the Skåne has a million dialects.
It does. Oh, so many. Swedish has a million dialects.
Yes,
it's like one language, but a billion dialects.
Oh, that's why you haven't learned it.
Honestly, it is one of the.
No, that's not.
Actually, it is one of the reasons because every time it's like, so say the letter 7. Hu. Not hu or hu or hu.
All of those would work.
Exactly.
A Swedish person would understand you no matter what the version of those you spoke.
Right. So it's not like I say 7 and everyone goes 7. Like when you say, So the way you say certain words or the way your dialect really has a hard inflection on. So my ex-wife who is Swedish. She's from Falkenberg. Yeah. So it was the Holland region.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. She's like, she would teach me Swedish, and I would say things. She's like, no, you're not saying the R. And I'm like, well, neither are you. You have not used an R in any of your words. So how would I even know that there was an R in this word? So the dialects are for such a small country.
Yes. The
dialects are really hardly ingrained. It's insane sometimes.
but going back, Närke represents tradition, doing Russian imperial stouts and doing
strong cask production.
Yeah, a lot of cask, no adjuncts traditionally. And when Håge, who was the old brewer, he has now passed away. When he was still active and living, he, at one point, we've said this on the show before, he made a big statement about him thinking that phantom brewers and importers were soulless profiteers. That does say a lot.
Which is ironic that now we're getting a Närke Omnipollo beer.
So,
however, Omnipollo has slightly changed their ways. They still do some phantom brewing out of Belgium, right?
But that's just the mass-produced things.
Right.
Most of the things now are probably produced in the church outside of Stockholm. So it makes more sense now. But looking at this collaboration, it really is the clash between new and old in a non-compatible way. But since we both had this before, we know that it works.
It works really well. So it's got it's an imperial porter with light honey as opposed to dark honey, as we've previously learned, and a bourbon flavor.
Sure.
Bourbon fat.
Yeah. Bourbon fat is barrel.
Barrel.
Smock is flavor.
Smock. I know smock is flavor, but I couldn't remember what fat was.
Fat.
Right. So it looks like bourbon fat, F-A-T.
Yeah.
But I couldn't remember what the.
So the original Stormaktsporter, or the original Kaggen Stormaktsporter, is made with heather honey, which in Swedish is ljunghonung. So that is definitely a light honey.
Yeah, 100%. And it smells very honey on the nose.
Yeah, but there's
a lot of honey on the nose.
There's a hint of bourbon here.
Yeah, it's very. I don't get bourbon as my first note. It's honey. It is a lot of honey.
Cheers, man.
Yeah, and this comes in at 13% ABV.
So fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of. It's so good. It's a lot of that heather honey. It's not like a lot of honey beers or beers that have a honey base to them become just super overpowering and super sweet. And I think, I don't know, since this is a Närke release technically with Omnipollo, I'm guessing.
Yep.
As opposed to Omnipollo release with Närke, how is it listed as a beer?
It's listed as a porter
Omnipollo. No, the listed Omnipollo is the main brewer.
Yes.
Which is surprising to me because it's much more balanced and traditional in flavor than I would have assumed that Omnipollo beer would have been.
It's listed as an Omnipollo beer with Närke as collaborations.
Right.
The description on internet is 29-hour brew day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how you do a 29-hour brew day. Buckets and buckets of heather honey, months and months on fresh bourbon barrels, and months on stainless with raw and toasted coconut, Madagascan vanilla steeped in Buffalo Trace and Heaven Hill bourbon for 3 years, plus freshly cut volcanic vanilla, etc., etc.
So they really wasted their money on that coconut, I'm going to say right now.
No, but I don't think they aged. I mean, something was aged in 3 years, but coconut on 3 years seems like a waste.
No, they weren't aging on coconut for 3 years. I think they added coconut to it and they aged the beer for 3 years.
I don't think so. I don't think this was made 3 years ago. No way. One of these ingredients has a
3 years.
Has a 3-year process
so
of making it into the beer.
So maybe there was a base stout that was a 3-year process.
No, I don't think a base stout was 3 years old. I think one of the ingredients was coconut that was somehow steeped in bourbon, and that was steeped 3 years ago, making it into this base beer that is less old.
I see what you're saying. So it's not like it's set for 3 years in something. It was done 3 years ago, then added to this.
Yes, that's what I believe. Saying.
All right.
Because nothing in this tastes like this beer was aged for 3 years in anything.
You're right, because I think if it had been, it would be much more bourbon forward and be much more tannic. Mm-hmm. Whereas this is, I don't get coconut in this at all. If you hadn't said coconut, I would not know it was there.
I get a little of coconut.
Because you're drunk.
No.
You know what you're talking about.
No, this is my first beer of today.
There's no coconut here. There's no coconut.
This is my first and only beer of the day.
I know, I'm just messing with you. But there's still no coconut here.
No, but come on. The aftertaste is bourbon with coconut for me. It really is. I'm not kidding with you.
I believe you when you say that.
Yeah.
The aftertaste for me is bourbon,
I'm even getting marzipan.
Marzipan, I agree with you. There is a bit of a marzipan-y flavor to this. It's a really fun beer, and I knew we both really enjoyed this beer quite a bit to begin with, and I thought it would be a really fun beer to have on the calendar, so that's why I brought it back. Not because I just happened to have accidentally bought 2 cans. That would not be how that happened at all. No, I really did buy this with the intention of having it on the calendar, because we haven't really featured Närke very much in the past. No. Even though we featured Omnipollo a ton of time, almost to the point where we had kind of banned Omnipollo beers for a while.
Yeah. But last year we had a Kaggen. We did
have a Kaggen. Yeah. So 1 year ago we had one of their beers, and now we featured them again. So it's not like they're getting a lot of airplay from us. But
it's so funny. I went to Bishop's Arms, the pub in Malmö. Bought a can of this after Pontus and Björn had bought a can, and when I did buy it, I had a small fear of missing out, and I didn't know it would end up at Systembolaget.
I knew it would.
Where I got a can, and now this is the 3rd time I've had it, and being scared of missing it, and now having it 3 times the same year, that amuses me.
Yeah, I 100% knew this would come out of Systembolaget. I was never worried about that. So when you were just like, I'm buying a can of it, I'm like, yeah, but you can buy it in Systembolaget on Friday.
It just means I get to try it more.
You get to try it more times, exactly.
Yes.
But this is
it's just below a 4.5 for me. So strong 4.25. It's like a 4.4 if we do fractions.
I get what you're saying. For me, it's just a across the board 4.25. Yeah. I don't think it would ever get more than that for me. It's a really good beer, and it's such it's kind of a beer that I don't think anyone ever thought they would see. That Omnipollo and Närke would combine their forces to create something, because they're so diametrically opposed in their approaches to things.
Right.
But I am really glad to see it, and I would hopefully maybe someday like to see something else from them as a collaboration. Just taking a traditional style like a porter, because this doesn't taste like a porter to me. It doesn't drink like a porter.
It's more like an imperial stout.
Kind of. It's like a cross between an imperial stout and a bit of a barley wine for me. Because it's not so hard roasted, and it's not so viscous and like Omnipollo does with their stouts, that which are almost kind of syrupy sometimes. So it's much lighter than that. And the aftertaste, I think probably from the coconut, gives you that marzipan kind of dried fruits flavors. So this is where I kind of feel that if there is a middle ground between imperial porter and a barley wine, I think this somehow fits that bill quite well.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Yeah.
I think the rating depends on if you can taste coconut or not.
Probably, yeah. You're the super taster in the coconut range.
Oh, definitely.
Well, I think we've said all there is that can be said in 13 and a half minutes.
I think so too.
So we'll wrap it up here. You can find us online at what'sontappodcast.com, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, YouTube. Wherever you can find podcasts, please like, subscribe, whatever else you do on those channels that I may not be up to date on. Well, please do those things as well. Share it with your friends. Share it with your enemies. Tell your loved ones. Spoil Christmas. Make people listen to the podcast for hours on end, because that's the way they should listen to it. So until next time,
keep drinking, you dum-dums.